नमस्ते सबैजना म भुवन कोचबीको तर्फबाट अर्को जेनजीको सेसन लिएर आएको छु। आज चाहिँ हाम्रो गेस्ट हुनुहुन्छ काही नेफिल ढकाल। अलिकति नाम चाहिँ सम्झिनलाई मैले अलिकति मेन्टल प्र्याक्टिस गरिरहेको थिएँ सो द्याट आई वुडन्ट हुन्छ नि मिक्सअप गर्दिनँ भनेर। हाम्रो ब्याक स्टेजमा अलिअलि कन्भर्सेसन भएको थियो, त्यति कुरा चाहिँ गर्न पाइएन। सो आई नो भेरी लिमिटेड थिङ्स अबाउट काही। हाम्रो यो कन्भर्सेसन चाहिँ नेपाली भन्दा नि इङ्ग्लिसमै बढी हुन्छ होला, तर अहिले जति नेपाली बोल्नु छ म अहिले सकाइहाल्छु। राइट, काही चाहिँ सी इज अ नेप्लिज फिलिपिनो, 19 years old, अनि अहिले चाहिँ युनिभर्सिटी पढ्दै हुनुहुन्छ। अनि काही चाहिँ डिबेटर, सी इज बिन अ डिबेटर फर 5 years। मैले नेपाली बोल्छु भनेपछि पनि इङ्ग्लिस आइरहेछ, सो के गर्ने होइन। अनि she also loves traveling and she loves listening to music and she loves making TikToks. चाहिँ मैले थाहा पाएको इन्फर्मेसन हो, तर I will go into details about what she actually loves and what she is passionate about and what makes her हुन्छ नि successful, how she deals with stress. यो सबै कुरा हामी बिस्तारै एक्सप्लोर गर्दै जान्छौँ। अब मबाट धेरै कुरा सुन्नुभन्दा पनि let's just invite Kahee on the screen and then let's get this rolling.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you? Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for coming, and you're most welcome. I'm doing good as well. I always say कि अब यो नेपाली इङ्ग्लिस अलिकति मिक्स हुन्छ होइन, बानी हो, इट्स माई ह्याबिट। एभ्री टाइम यु डोन्ट अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड जस्ट रिमाइन्ड मी टु स्पिक इन इङ्ग्लिस है। सो या lockdown has been kind of a blessing in disguise. त्यति भन्न त हुँदैन because it's been quite hard on so many people, but I've taken this as a learning opportunity, so it's been good in a weird way. So Kahee, I'm pronouncing it right, okay? Right?
Yeah,
Kahee?
pronouncing it right.
Right. So the way I introduced you, what did I get right and what did I do wrong?
I mean, the introduction was from me, so obviously everything's right. Nothing was wrong. I guess like if I would meet someone for the first time in a professional setting, that would be the first things I would tell them. So yeah, I think those are all right.
Awesome. Now, if you were meeting someone not in a professional setting and all these levels meant nothing, introduce yourself.
I would say like, yo, what's up? I mean, I was like, yo, what's up? It's Kahee. I would probably just be like way chiller, but then I wouldn't need to introduce myself because I would just wait for how like what they say about me. Like they would learn about me through what I do and through how I act. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm a fun person or I'm this or I'm that. Like I'm not gonna say anything. Like they just have to learn about it with like how I interact with them, I guess.
Awesome. So someone's like you see someone, you meet someone for the first time, and then that person spends like maybe 6 or 7 months with you as a friend. What would that person learn about you? Who is Kahee?
I guess first they would learn that I'm not how like their first impression would probably be wrong, because my friends often tell me that like, oh, they were scared of me because I look intimidating. Or like in the Philippines, they usually say, oh, I didn't know you speak Filipino because like I don't really look like a typical Filipino. So they would probably say that. And I guess after 6 or 7 months, they would know that I'm actually not intimidating at all. Like I don't like, I don't really judge people that much. And I make friends like with people. I'm pretty friendly and stuff. So I guess as a friend, they would know that I'm not that clingy. Like I don't always need them or like call them or look for them all the time. But then I know like I have like a sense of assurance with my friends that we're still friends, even if we don't talk every day and stuff like that.
Nice. You've said that you don't judge people that much. Why is that important for you?
I think it's important because obviously like things change. Like I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh, I've never judged anyone in my life. Like obviously I have, and like just like probably like everyone else. But then whatever I judge them or like whatever my impression is of them, I don't really like take it to heart, or like I don't set it in stone. So like I allow them to like maybe prove themselves to be different to me or something like that. Like I don't necessarily just set this idea of them and keep it there forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know exactly what you mean, right? So as human beings, we're incapable of not judging, but
Uh-huh.
we know how to draw the line, right? So awesome, awesome. So let me ask you this: what are some of the reasons you are here today?
I guess first of all, obviously like my parents, my family, my relatives, my friends. And I guess I'm here today just because of like the things I discover on my own and the things that I discover through my friends. Like obviously it's always my friends who tell me to, oh, do this, do that. Like for example, debating. Like I wasn't gonna get into debating, but one of my friends was like, oh, you should join debate. I was like, oh, okay, sure, I guess I'll try. But then after that, like I got into debating even more than my friend was. Like he already left it, but I was still there, you know? So obviously it's like through other influences such as also the internet, like social media, Google, everything. Like everything's just there for you to discover. And if I see something that I want to try, then I just go for it.
Okay, if you see something you want to try, you'll go for it. What does that tell you about yourself?
I guess it tells me that I'm pretty daring, I guess. But like I want you to put the emphasis on like something I wanna try, like really wanna try. Because there are things like I guess I wanna try, but then not really, really wanna try. So I still have like the thoughts of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't try it and stuff like that. So I don't try everything I see. That's like something I want to put it out there, like put out there. Like I don't do everything. I'm not like a jack of all trades or something like that. Like I just pick. But then if I want to try it and I know that like the risks are lesser than like the benefits I could get, then I would definitely try it. Yeah.
Okay, you definitely try it if it seems like very beneficial for you, right? So you're going to try everything. Um, okay, talking about what you like, what's your biggest passion?
I honestly don't know. I don't think I have a biggest passion in terms of like something out of school or like career. Like what type of passion? Like a hobby, or can you
What do you
clarify it a little?
Yeah, what do you love doing the most? What makes you excited, happy?
I really like socializing with people, like going to social gatherings. That's really important. And for like a passion in terms of like what makes me fulfilled, it's definitely maybe through like social issues or like public speaking or like being able to I guess help people who need the help.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Help people who need the help. And you've talked about you love socializing, you love public speaking. Um, yeah, it seems like you like being involved with people, right? Talking to people, interacting with them. What is so exciting about that, if I may ask?
About sorry, about
Socializing, talking to people.
I think people are like the funnest thing on earth. They're the most different, most I guess dynamic, like whatever creation. And you know, when you meet people, you don't really know what's gonna happen in the next few years or in the next week or in the next day. So I think that's what's really exciting for me. Like meeting new people is so fun because I really like having like a not a lot of friends. Like I wouldn't say I have a lot of friends, but like just knowing a lot of people, I think that's pretty fun. And like they talk to you, so it's not like things that like oh it's just there, you're just looking at them. But then people they talk to you, they interact with you, they give you new insights about things, they tell you about stuff that happened to them. So like that's just really interesting to me.
Okay, that is interesting for you. When we ourselves, like all of us, when we consider things that we're interested in or things that we love doing, our interests go up and down, right? Our sparks go up, and sometimes we're not that keen. So when you're not interested in socializing or debating or making public speeches or whatever, how do you kind of pick yourself up? How do you keep the spark going?
When I don't want to do it, I would not do it. Like if I had a choice, you know. But then if it's for school or something, I think of like what's the outcome if I, let's say for example, if it's about public speaking, what's the outcome if I don't do it? Like, is it that bad? If it's not that bad, then I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna force myself to do it. Let's say for socializing, like obviously I do take my rest days and stuff. Like I still call myself a shy person, even if I'm not that shy, but like for myself, I still think I'm kind of shy, you know. So obviously like alone time is very important for me. Like my family members, like my relatives, they know that I don't like sharing rooms. Like even when I was in a dorm, I didn't want to have a roommate, like because I don't know, like private space is very important for me, and like alone time is very important for me because it's kind of like recharging for when I go back out and socialize with people. So yeah.
Okay, it's kind of like recharging your alone
Mhm.
time. Awesome, awesome. So let's suppose someone came up to you, right? So someone who's younger than you came up to you and said, I need your advice. I like socializing with people. I like interacting with people. What do you think I should choose as my future career? And you had to give that person 4 or 5 options to choose as a future career. What would your suggestions be?
Okay, I think one of them would be international relations because like diplomacy like involves, you know, like talking to different people. Maybe like is there like a degree for like being a party planner or something like that? I guess there's also management. I think management is pretty important in general because you know, it helps you in like managing your business. So maybe if it's like you can work in something like HR, like human resources, if you like socializing.
Uh-huh.
And I guess my course is pretty good too. I'm a development studies major, so it's like about interacting with society, like to interacting with marginalized groups and stuff like that. What else is there? Communications, of course, communications major. Like that's really important if you wanna like learn how to communicate with people and with like mass media. Aside
Hmm.
from that, yeah, media is also another major. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
majors actually. It depends on your passion too, not just like, oh, I want to socialize, I should like base my career on that. Like it also depends on your passion and like what you're good at.
yeah, yeah. It depends on what you're good at as well. Definitely. What are some of the careers you think they shouldn't choose or that person shouldn't choose?
If they like socializing,
Yeah, yeah. Interacting with people and socializing.
I'm not saying that this career won't let you socialize at all, but I'm just saying like maybe it's lesser requirement compared to others. Okay, I'll just make that clear. Probably computer science because a lot of it's online. Like obviously you need to make friends and stuff like that, but then it's not like entirely dependent on that. Um, I don't know what else. Probably like if you want to be like a scientist, like an individual researcher, maybe
Hmm.
you won't need to socialize. But if you want to be like a doctor, like a physician, you will need it because you'll need like bedside manner and stuff like that. You have to learn about those to like how to handle people. So I think things that just allow you to be on your own, then it's fine. You won't need to like learn about socializing.
Awesome, awesome. Kai, if it's okay to ask, where did you grow up and what was it like growing up?
Okay. I grew up in the Philippines in the city of Zamboanga. So it's like in the southern part. It was really fun. I was with my cousins, my aunties, and a lot of relatives. And it's like an island. So I was an island girl, I guess. Like a lot of beaches and a lot of good food, seafood, and stuff like that. It was really fun growing up there. And then 2 years later, I moved. I mean, 2 years ago, maybe 4 years ago now, I moved to Manila. So that's more like the city, like
Yeah,
metropolitan city. And it was also really fun. Like I had the freedom of living alone, and I made a lot of friends, and they were really nice to me. They were really accepting, and yeah, it was fun. I think my childhood was pretty fun.
okay, your childhood was pretty fun. Um,
Mhm.
if I look back at my childhood, like when I was 12, 13, there was no internet and would be outside playing hide and seek and Lukumari, Petai, and all of that, right? I don't know if you know that in English, Malay. I don't even know what's called in English, right? So, what are some of the things, fun things you did when you were 12, 13, that you can remember?
Maybe not 12, 13, because that time I was more focused on like school. But before that, when I was younger, I would be in the beach. I was like, there's this like thing, it's like a lifesaver, right? The thing. And
Yeah, yeah.
then in one part, like in one beach in my city, there's like this
Okay, Kahizi, can you hear us?
hello? Am I sorry?
Um,
Hello?
Frozen for a
Am I,
few seconds, but that's fine.
yeah, I'm so sorry. Am I lagging? Am I moving? Or am I
I think it's fine now. You were frozen for about a few seconds. We got you until where you said there was this lifesaver thing on the
okay.
internet.
Anyway, so there was the lifesaver and there were like really big waves and we weren't surfing or anything like professional, but then we just ride the lifesaver and we would go through the waves. And sometimes it would be super strong, like while I was on the wave, it threw me to the shore, like to the actual sand. And it was painful, but like no one really cared that time, people were getting like stung by jellyfish and stuff like that. But we were young, we didn't really care. Like I was always like really tanned because of the beach and stuff. But it was really fun.
Okay, it was really fun. You're talking about beaches and you jellyfish lake took me by everything else sounded quite fun. And you kept mentioning we. So who are your friends? How important is friendship for you?
Friendship is really important to me, especially since like I told you, when I was in senior high school, I lived alone. So like obviously my parents would visit a lot, but then every day I was with my friends. Like they were like my 24/7, like the people I would meet. So like friendship is really important, and I think what's more important than just friendship alone is knowing like who your friends are and knowing when to, like, I mean, what to do with those types of friends, because I don't just have like one friend that I just, I do everything with this friend. Like no, I have different friends for different things, and I think that's really important.
Okay, you have different friends for different things. Okay. Obviously, you socialize quite a bit. You interact with people quite a bit. So you have normal friends, and you've got this inner circle of friends, right? That you're very close to. So, what kind of people do you invite into your inner circle who you can, yeah, rely on and all of that?
I guess first of all, like, are they honest to me? Am I honest to them? That's really important. And it's not as important, but then I guess time would also be a thing, because obviously like you can't just invite someone to your inner circle when you just met them for a day, but then it could happen. Like, I mean, I can get close to someone who I just met for a day, but then it's not like inner circle. Another thing I would say is that usually there are really nice people in my inner circle. Like they're very respectful about other people, and usually they're funny people because I really love humor. And like if you're not funny, I'm not gonna be friends with you.
Okay.
Joking.
Okay, that's a tough criteria. Right. So, what kind of people would you not invite into your inner circle?
Mm. I wouldn't really say like I invite people into my inner circle, so I don't know how to answer that. But then usually if you're just there when you like need me, like when you need me for something and you just ask me to, like, that's the only time you text me or call me or something like that, then obviously I wouldn't invite you to my inner circle. And maybe if like I see that you always, maybe if I've heard stuff about you like talking about me behind my back, maybe that too. If you hate someone I'm really close with, then probably that too. Like I would still be friends with you, but then I don't know if like I'm gonna let you into my inner circle. And usually it's like really natural. That's why I don't know how to answer like invite into my inner circle, because the people who are in my inner circle, they just naturally became part of my inner circle. Like I didn't say, oh, I should invite this person. I didn't like think I didn't think of it or anything. Like it wasn't planned. It just happened naturally. So yeah.
It happened naturally. Okay, let me
Mhm.
ask you this in a slightly different way then. What are some
Mhm.
of the great things about your friends, right? Some of your really good friends. What are some of the great things that are common to all of your close friends?
They're really funny, of course, and then they know like when to say something, when to not say something. They're also all really really smart. They're also nice, but then not in a pushover nice way. Like they're good people, they're genuinely kind and good people, but then they're not pushovers, and they're people who would defend me if something would happen. They're like there to back me up, and they're also here watching right now, I guess. So hi guys. Yeah, I think aside from that, they're really supportive. Like my friends, they don't try to pull me down or anything, because I heard like that stuff happens a lot in friendships, but I actually genuinely never experienced like my own friends pulling me down and stuff, which is pretty nice. So yeah.
Okay. They're very supportive. They won't pull you down. Very funny. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Nice. Now, we all need to express ourselves, right? So, what are some of the ways you express yourselves, and what does self-expression actually mean for you?
For me, I sometimes express myself through like tweets, or like there's this thing we do, it's called like Twitter rant. So it's like a private Twitter rant where you only have like select people, and usually you only have like 10 to 20 people. And that's where you like tweet your actual rants, and only a few people will see it. So sometimes that's how I express my like inner thoughts and feelings. But other than that, music, like I don't make music, okay? I'm bad at singing. Anyone who's ever met me knows I'm bad at singing, because they tell it to me. They tell it to my face. But I love listening to music. Like I'm really into sad songs. Yeah, so that's also how I express myself.
Awesome. So, you are telling me not to ask you to sing, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, no, no, please, no.
okay, so I'm just trying to clarify that. Okay. So music is one. The other is ranting on Twitter, your closed group.
Mhm.
Right. So what does that actually do for you when you're ranting on Twitter?
So basically, not all of my friends, I can't talk to all of my friends every day, like, 24/7, right? Or like even I can't like message all of them. But then when you just with one tweet, or like maybe if not a Twitter, like maybe like Instagram close friends, like with one like story or something that only they see, it's kind of like updating them of my life without necessarily having to like message each and every single one of them. And for me, it's like a relief, because like, oh, finally I told someone. Because or like sometimes they also reply to it. They'll be like, oh, it's fine, or sometimes they relate to it. So it's like one way of just really telling everyone how you feel, and obviously you get a sense of relief, right, from like expressing yourself or like expressing your feelings. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yasnazi was just saying that you rap very well. I'm not going to put any pressure on you, but anytime you feel like going into a rap, you can just
I
start.
don't rap. They're
Uh,
just saying that. They're just saying that because I'm really into hip hop. But like, obviously, if it's playing, I'll be like, oh, I'll rap, right? But then I don't actually like rap myself or like write my own stuff. Like, no, they're just teasing me.
yeah, that's fine. I'm
They're
just
funny.
giving you
Uh-huh.
anytime you feel like going into it or rapping, just go for it. That's all I'm saying. Um, the reason the reason you love traveling is because
Oh, first of all, I really love like learning about different cultures. I love different languages. Like just seeing different people when you like go into a new place or a new country, and like the air is just different, like the breeze is just different, the smell is just different. and that's just really interesting to me. And then I also like learning about like hearing other people's languages, because it's like, oh, that's so cool. That's like different, you know, like how do they think that way? Like, do they think in their own language and stuff like that? So like sometimes there'll be culture shock, but then I think that's also important, you know, because like if you just stay in one place for the rest of your life, like how would you see how other people think? How would you see like how they live?
Awesome. And that is important because
I guess as a person who wants to be like someone who travels in the future, for me, learning about different people's perspectives is important, and you can only learn about their perspectives or their experiences by looking at how they live life. So obviously if I visit like Thailand for a day, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm definitely a local now, you know. I'm not, obviously it's not like that, but then when you at least get a peek into their life and like see how they live, their food, their culture, then you understand more about like, oh, why is this, why are they thinking like this? And I think that's just important in general for anyone, because you know, especially since sometimes we're like, oh, I'm right, I'm 100% right, my idea, my opinion is right. But then when you open yourselves to different perspectives, different cultures, different practices, I guess, then you'll be more sensitive, I guess, to other people, that maybe you're not necessarily right. Maybe whatever you think is right is not the ultimate right in the world. So that's why I think traveling is important.
okay. Okay, that is why traveling is important. And you've talked about ultimate right.
Mhm.
Have you found any ultimate right?
I don't think I'm at that age. I think I'm still like there's still time for me to grow and learn more about like a lot of things. So maybe once I do find like I don't think I don't think anyone's ever gonna find what's ultimately right. Like what I meant by ultimate right was just like, for example, oh, my opinion is this, and I think this is ultimately right. This is like right, and then someone else says no, it's not, and then I say, oh, you're wrong because you don't agree with me. But then that person also says, oh, you don't agree. So like basically that's how people like that's what starts wars. That's what starts disagreements and stuff like that. So I guess that's why I was like, it's important to see other people's perspectives too. Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely important to see other people's perspective as well. Kahee, education. Why do you think it is important?
I think education is really important because it prepares you for the real world. Aside from that, you get to test out a lot of different things that I think I wouldn't have been able to test out without education. So, for example, I think in grade 5 we had like sewing classes, and I was so bad at it. Like I think the teacher just made me pass because she felt bad because I was actually putting effort, but then it looked so bad. So without trying that, I wouldn't necessarily know that, oh, this is not the right thing for me. Like without like education, it really allows you to try different things, and like later, you know, you can choose like, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? And I think that's really important since while we're young, you know, we just follow whatever is there. So we just follow whatever the system of like whatever the system society puts us into. So I guess without education, for me, I don't think I would be the same person I am today, and I wouldn't be able to explore as much as I have, like if I didn't have education.
Definitely. Well said. Kahee, what about the 4 years degree that you have at the moment, right? How relevant do you think degrees are at this, in this um, century when the world is changing so fast? Things just change in a couple of years. Do you
Mhm.
think 4 years degrees still make sense to you?
Mm. Personally, it makes sense for me, but I don't think it's for everyone.
Mhm.
I know that there's like a lot of talk about how, oh, college is not important, but then we as people, like as viewers or as the audience, we need to remember that they're talking about their own context, where usually they're in like America or something like that. And unfortunately, we have to face the truth. Like as people from developing countries, we don't face the same privilege that they do have. We don't have the same society that they have. So even if people can succeed without the like 4 years degree, and if you think that it's better for you not to get a degree. I mean, you don't need to just get a 4-year degree. You can get like other stuff too, you know. But then if you think like higher education, I guess, is not for you, then don't do it. Don't do it. It's just you wasting your money. But I do believe for me it is the right thing for me. Yeah.
Okay, so it depends on context and individuals, and there could be individuals who think higher education is not for them, and
Mhm.
that's fine as well, right? So again, like you said in the beginning, no judgment. Awesome. So your friend suggested you to, be a debater or go into debates. What do you think your friend saw in you that made her or him feel that you would be a great debater?
Okay, first of all, I have a really loud voice. Like my friends always tell me, "Oh, you have a really loud voice." I'm like, "Yeah." So aside from that, like I wouldn't be afraid to talk about my opinions in class. So like during recitation time, like the teacher always knows that I'm gonna eventually recite. I'm eventually gonna raise my hand. And then aside from that, I think just because I was that friend was my classmate, so I guess he heard like how I was in class, how I would present my opinions and stuff. So it's probably like, oh, you should definitely join. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So you said that presenting your opinion is important for you, right? So there are also a lot of us who kind of hesitate to present our opinions to others, right? We keep it to ourselves.
Hmm.
Uh, why is it important for people to present their opinions, you think? What would that give you?
Actually, I don't think it's important, or like I don't think it's necessary for people to always express their opinions. Like obviously in like important situations, yeah, but then I wouldn't say that it's necessary to always express your opinion, like I guess only when it's needed, or when you feel like there's something really wrong that you think if you didn't say your opinion, um things would have been differently, things would happen differently. So I think it's not really necessary all the time to express your opinion, but in the times that it is necessary, and let's say for example something wrong's happening and you think your opinion can correct it, I think you should remember like the impact of the words you're going to say. So do I think these words will eventually help the situation, or did the person ask for my opinion, for example? Then I guess just learning, just like I guess discerning and thinking about the impact of what you're going to say. I guess that's important in like thinking if you should say your opinion.
Okay, that is definitely important. Um, yeah, in deciding whether you should share your opinion or not. Um, do you ever have doubts about whether I should or shouldn't express my opinion, and are my opinions worthy?
Yeah, obviously, especially like on the internet, we have like a lot of platforms to express our opinion. Like you can comment, you can say it, you can put a TikTok out or stuff like that. You can do anything. And I think for me, what I really think about is, will this, I guess, destroy me more than it can help them? So, for example, if I want to say something bad, like, do you think it will help them or not? Just stuff like that, you know? And I guess about maybe like a good rule of thumb is like, does this opinion really matter and stuff like that? Obviously if it's small things like, oh, I don't like ice cream because it tastes weird, I think it's fine, you know. But then if it's something more impactful, more controversial, I will, if it's especially if it's controversial, I would think more like, is this the right audience to talk to? Do I think I'm in the right like headspace, or I'm in the right mindset to defend my opinion if I get like, you know, if I get butchered for it and stuff like that. So it just depends on the mindset and headspace too.
Okay, depends on the mindset and the headspace too. So someone who overthinks, right? So someone has an opinion and she or he thinks it's very important to share, but that person's overthinking and thinking, if I say something stupid, everyone will laugh at me, and I probably shouldn't say it, even though he or she thinks it's very important. Your advice to that person would be
My advice would be, do you think in like 2 years from now you would still remember this? If yes, then okay, be careful, be a little careful. But if you think it won't matter as much 2 years from now, just do it. Like I say a lot of like crazy, like random stuff all the time. And I think like there's too many things in the world for people to remember. Like they won't always remember, oh, you said this that day and stuff like that. If you don't really hurt people, if you don't really do like something really bad towards someone, I don't think it matters at all. Like if you're scared of voicing out your opinion because you might be wrong, I think okay, I get that. I kind of get that fear because obviously me, I'm scared too. Because what if I'm wrong? But then once you go past like getting wrong, being wrong, once you go past that, for example, okay, this one time I'll just do it and I'm wrong. I won't be as scared anymore next time because I've already experienced being wrong. Do you
Mm.
understand? So like once you've experienced being wrong, it wouldn't be as bad anymore compared to if I'm like, oh, I've never been wrong in my life, so I'm not gonna say it. So the moment you start like allowing yourself to like be wrong, I guess, or like allowing yourself to speak about your opinions and maybe not getting the I guess the reaction you wanted. Once you just like let it be, that's the conclusion. Like that's how you summarize it. Just let it be. Once you're wrong, you won't really care anymore in the future.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Once you're wrong, you kind of realize it's not that bad. Even if people laugh at you, it'll probably last for a few hours, a few days, and then it'll disappear. Then you'll be okay with this. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Fine, thank you. Um, and if it's okay to ask, what are three skill sets that you have that make you a good debater?
For debating, first, I'll just say skill sets or like traits, like, or do I need to make it separate? Like anything?
Anything, yeah.
Okay. First, like not being afraid to be wrong, because in debate, like we always be like we're always wrong a lot of the times, especially when it's like on a hard subject, like we don't have a lot of background on. And I guess not being afraid to embarrass yourself, because you do embarrass yourself a lot. Your voice cracks, you start sweating, you start shouting, your voice changes differently. Sometimes you like use incorrect grammar or incorrect words, like you pronounce words like incorrectly. But then when you realize that, like, oh, whatever, it doesn't matter, we're all just here to have fun and learn stuff, then I guess it helps you. And another thing is also being well read. It really helps a lot in debate, not just being well read in one issue, but being well read in a lot of issues. And I would say I'm not that well read. But then just having at least the basic knowledge about something, like having the basic knowledge on international relations, having the basic knowledge on business, on science, on like gender studies, on like different fields, like having at least the basic or like fundamental or like foundations of that field is like more than helpful, more than enough, I guess.
Okay, basic knowledge on most contemporary issues, right? So Kahee, what would be some debate topics that you will not debate for? Like it would go against your values. It's like, okay, I will not debate in support of this topic.
We're not allowed to pick,
Okay.
so I won't debate anything because okay, the whole point of debate is to create discourse, and it's not about what my opinion is, it's about being able to defend that side. And I think I actually like it more when like I don't believe in that side, and I get that because we don't get to pick, right? It's like sometimes it's random, sometimes like most of the time it's random. So for example, I get like opposition side for something I believe in, so basically that means I don't believe in the opposition, right? So I don't believe in what I'm saying, I don't believe in my speech, but I'm able to research about it, learn more about the perspectives and stuff like that. So it really helps a lot. You know,
Okay.
um, like devil's advocate and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Devil's advocate. Okay. Nice. Um, what are some of the mistakes you've made as a debater that others can learn from?
Okay, one of them would be not prioritizing the right things to say. So we have 7 minutes, and sometimes you have too much to say, and you prioritize the wrong stuff. Because what's really important more than what you say is how you phrase them, how you structure them, and stuff like that. Another mistake would be like just being too scared, being too nervous, and then at the end when you're there, you just like start shaking or like start your voice starts cracking. I don't think it's a mistake more than an experience. Another mistake I've made in debate, I guess, is comparing myself to others. Because this like the Philippine circuit, it's like really big. There's a lot of debaters in the Philippines. So especially like in my school, we had like some of the best debaters in the country. So I would compare myself to them or like to other people I would see in competitions, and I'd be like, oh, this person's younger than me, but way better than me. So I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do it anymore, you know. So like, I think that's also a big mistake that I would tell others not to commit.
Okay, comparing yourself to others is also one of the biggest mistakes you've said. But how do you know where you stand and whether you're improving if you're not comparing yourself to others? What are you comparing yourself? How are you measuring your success then?
Obviously I do compare myself to others, but what I meant by that was more like, okay, for example, someone's a debater and that debater is younger than me, and then he or she is also better than me. So I'll be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't debate anymore because I'm not as good as that person. That's more of what I meant than comparing. And you wouldn't need to actually compare yourself because the data, like the competition, they do it for you. They'll release like a speaker tabs, and they release which rank of speaker you are across like the whole like list of people, group of people. So you don't need to compare yourself. They're gonna do it for you.
Okay, they're going to do it for you. Okay, that sounds quite tough. All right. Who are some of the people that are helping you grow at the moment?
Obviously my parents, my family, my relatives, and then my friends, like my friends in the Philippines, my friends in Nepal. They're really helping me grow because they don't just be like, okay, you do this, do this, do this. You know, they also challenge me like, do you really want to do this? Do you think this would be beneficial? And I think that challenge is more important than just someone being like, than just having people who are just there to support you all the time. Because the challenges, they're for like, you know, being your devil's advocate, or also like challenging you to maybe because they know you can do more. And if you're trying to put yourself in a box, or if you're like, for example, I'll be like, oh, I want to do this, and then my parents will be like, do you really want to do it? Like, I don't always take it as, oh, you're criticizing me. I take it more as like, maybe they think there's something else better for me and stuff like that.
Awesome. That's very interesting. So basically, someone challenging you is a good thing, right? But
Yeah,
we
it's like,
also Okay, but we also hear a lot of people when they're challenged too much, it becomes too much. They come under a lot of pressure, right? And if you're not challenged, then you don't grow. So what's the balance, and what's the ideal environment for you to grow and learn?
okay, I guess if you're challenged and you give up, that means it just wasn't for you in the first place. So it's better that you were challenged now than you would be challenged like 3 years later into the future and you regret it and you wished you were challenged earlier. But I guess if it's a challenge for you to grow more, I think the perfect challenge is like, will it make you think about quitting? Yes. But will it really make you quit? No. You know, like it'll make you think about quitting, but not necessarily make you quit. I think that's the perfect balance of a challenge, like a good challenge.
Nicely said. Awesome. That's very inspiring, actually. So your advice to parents would be, right? So, what are some of the things parents should not do to encourage their kids to grow?
To grow.
Yeah. So, what are some of the things that if they did, their kids would not be encouraged?
Okay, I guess one of them would be like being really controlling about everything and not giving them the space to grow. Because I think if I didn't experience that, like 2 years of living alone and being independent and stuff like that, I wouldn't grow to who I am right now. I would probably be more dependent on other people and stuff like that. And I think also, mm, like controlling what your children should be in the future, I think that's also like not helping them grow at the end of the day, because you're just imposing your own, you're probably just projecting your own dreams onto them, and that wouldn't help you or them in the long run, because if they fail at it, you're also going to, feel bad, I guess. And another thing that you shouldn't do if you want your children to grow is to baby them like baby them and just be overprotective of them and be like, oh, this is my child, I'm going to protect him, and they make mistakes and you still defend them. And obviously you're supposed to defend them to some degree, but then that doesn't mean that you shouldn't like scold them or like tell them about the mistakes they're making.
Okay, you shouldn't scold them about the mistakes they're making. What does independence mean to you?
Independence, it means a lot of things to me, because like there's also the practical sense of independence, where like, okay, living alone and stuff, but there's also another type of independence where it's just like making your own choices. I guess independence is really important for me. I really like making my own decisions, making my own choices. I don't like it when other people make it. I like it when my parents make it, when my sisters make it, when anyone else makes it. Like it removes the control from me. It removes like the autonomy, I guess, from me. And I don't like that, because I don't know, I'm just like that, Some people, they're not like that. But then for me, independence is really important. I guess what it means is just being able to have greater control over your own decisions. And it doesn't need to be absolute independence. I'll put that out there. It doesn't need to be absolute independence, but just it doesn't need to be like all out there. If it could be like small or little, like for example, right now you have the independence to do this. Next you have the independence to do this. Like it can just eventually grow.
Okay, it doesn't have to be absolute independence. But the kind of independence you're talking about, what are some of the things you're doing knowingly or unknowingly to ensure that you have an independent future? That
Okay.
that the one that you just described.
Okay. I am studying really hard. I am joining organizations and stuff like that, because if I don't study, then I'm gonna be forever financially dependent to my parents. And joining organizations and stuff, it really helps you grow, because you're like playing to be like part of the corporate world, or like playing to be part of the I guess organizational structure of companies and like other institutions and stuff like that. So it really helps you learn about independence, and I would love to learn more. Like I tell myself I'm independent, but obviously I'm not like absolutely independent, and I'm not perfect at all. I'm still growing, obviously, and I still need the dependence that I have, like towards my parents, towards my sisters, towards my friends, and stuff like that. So I guess it's just independent. I say that I'm independent enough to learn and to make my mistakes. So I guess that's good.
Awesome, nicely said. And we're not. Most of us are not entirely and completely independent anyway, right? So we're all depending. Yeah, absolutely. Self-talk, right? So it seems like you kind of use self-talk quite a bit. Just judging by what you've described earlier, about what you said to yourself and all that. So how do you use self-talk to empower yourself?
Mm. Actually, I don't talk to myself like a lot. I don't really like. Do you mean like self talk, like just in my mind, or like ooh, talking to myself? Like,
In your mind, a lot of people don't really talk to themselves, but they're having a conversation in their head. Right? So
all
that's
right,
what I.
all right, okay. First, I think about like what I want, right, and then next, I think about what other people would say, and then there's this discourse, like this. There's discourse inside my head, what this person is saying, what this person is saying, and I guess what another party is saying. And at the end, one of the voices will always be louder. I don't know which one it will be. It's not like ultimately always this one. It's always this one. It's not always like that. Sometimes I listen to other people, and I guess whatever is louder, that's the decision that you make. And sometimes it's empowering, sometimes it's not. In terms of like empowering myself, I don't really boost myself a lot. But then my friends, my family, they're always there to do that. And even if they're not, I don't really care because like I think it's fine even if you don't get empowered all the time, or even if you don't get cheered on or like get boosted. Like it's not that necessary for me. Like it's fine if you even if you don't get it. Like whatever. Like let it be.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, in life you get all kind of stuff, right? So it's not always going to be cheering and empowering and all that. So what about your self beliefs, right? So what are some of your strongest self beliefs?
Mm, that's hard. Um, I guess I believe that everyone deserves like an opportunity to live life in a way that like that helps them self actualize.
Uh,
Yeah, so basically that means that people should have like the right to self actualization. So basically it's like being able to do what they want and find meaning and find purpose in their lives.
okay, beautiful. All right, nice. Now, what are some of your biggest fears?
um Aside from fear of like dying and stuff and like like okay, aside from those, one of them would be like failure. I'm really scared of failure. And I'm not talking about like, oh, being wrong in recitation or like failing in a quiz. Like, I don't really care about that. I don't really care about like small things, but whatever. But then when it's like a big thing, like maybe failing to get into the school I wanted, or failing like an actual grade, like not just a quiz, but like the actual total average grade. I think that's really scary for me because obviously, who's not scared of that?
Okay. All right. Um, what are some of the things that you're proud of?
I'm proud of I don't know. I'm proud of myself. Like I'm proud. I'm happy of where I am right now in terms of school, in terms of my social life. I'm really proud of my friends. They're really amazing people. I'm proud of my family. They're also really fun people. I'm also proud of myself being who I am. Like I'm not really that serious. I'm like I would laugh a lot all the time. Like even in class, I'm always laughing. Even one time, my teacher scolded me because I was laughing in the back of the class. And yeah, it was bad at that point. But then at that point in time, but then now I just remember it. I just remember it, and I just keep on laughing because it's just funny. Like life is. I just take life very lightly in general. I like laughing a lot, like a lot, a lot.
Okay, nice, nice. That just means that you know how to be happy. So
Mm.
beautiful. Um, let's just say you could travel to the future, right? So 10 years from now, you're 29 years old, um, and you're super successful. You've achieved most of your dreams. So and you're here on the platform, you're 29 years old, and you're here to talk about your success. What would you be saying in the next 2 minutes to talk about your successful journey?
Like what? What
You've
do you
just
mean? Like I'm old now, so I'm old. Like my future, I'm my
29,
future.
yeah, 29, not old, but maybe a
Sorry,
little
my
bit.
bad. I mean my future self. My future
Yeah, yeah,
self.
yeah. Yeah, and you're very successful, and you achieved most of your goals.
Mhm.
So, but you're here to inspire other people. So, 2 minutes,
Oh,
please, about
okay.
your success story.
Um, I would say don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to meet different people and learn about what they believe in, what their experiences are, what their insights are. Because when you put yourself in a box and you just think to yourself and you have like a strict plan of how your life is going to go, you're not going to be as free as you are, you're not going to be as free as you want to be. And even if you might achieve like whatever goal you have, I don't know if that really like gives if that will really give you meaning. So I think my advice would be to really find what gives you meaning, like what gives you like the purpose, or like what gives you the self actualization that you actually need. So even if you have a goal of like, let's say I want to be a doctor in this many years, I'm going to do everything like by plan, I would tell you like, sure, that's a really good plan, but then don't forget to change up your plan sometimes if you have to. Don't forget to like, try different things if you have to.
Okay, don't forget to try different things if you have to. Um, nice. Kai, how do you think this world is? How prepared do you think this world is for your generation?
Oh.
Coming you going into the workforce, you're starting your career. How prepared do you think this world is?
I think it's not that prepared, not as prepared as I wish it was, but I think we're making steps towards it, like especially since there are more millennials in the like corporate structures, I guess. So they're more like lenient towards Gen Z because it's like they're not that far from Gen Z. So there's that. But aside from that, I think ultimately we're just going to follow, as people from like Gen Z, for example, we're just going to follow whatever society has. Obviously we will try to like break the system and stuff, but then sometimes it's really hard to break the system and we'll have to follow it. So we just, I guess, as people from Gen Z, we just really hope that the system becomes better and more molded and more flexible so that they're able to cater to more people of different backgrounds, of different mindsets and stuff like that. I guess that's just all I really wish for the system.
Okay, nicely said. Um, uh, Kai, I'm taking you on this timeline, right? So I just took you to the future. Now I'm taking you to the past. I'm taking you 5 years back, right? So when you're 14 years old. So 13, 14, 15, we're all in the teenage. We've just entered teenage life, and a lot of us are just confused, right? So what would 21-year-old Kahi advise 14 or 15-year old Kahi about life? If you had to give younger Kahi life advice, what would that be?
um Talk to more people, because that time I was really like, I was more shy. I was more shy than I was. Also try new stuff, because also that time I didn't try anything. Like I was just like, I don't want to try anything. And also don't really care about like at that time when I was 14, I was really more careful and more, I guess, conscious. I was really more conscious about myself when I was younger. And my 21-year-old self would tell my 14-year-old self to be less conscious. Like, don't care as much as you're caring right now. In the future, it won't matter. Like, I forgot half of what happened when I was 14. But I do remember that there was a point in time when I was 14 that I was really scared. And I was like, very shy, and I was very timid, I guess. So 21-year-old me would tell my 14-year-old self that it doesn't really matter. You're young. You can just do whatever you want to. Of course, if it's like not hurting other people, obviously. But then yeah, that's what I would tell my 14-year-old self.
Nice advice. I think that advice would work for everyone, right? All age people. Beautiful advice. Kai, let's just suppose you're volunteering in Nepal. I don't know if you plan to, but let's just suppose you're volunteering in Nepal in one of the school in remote villages, right? So there's this one little girl that comes to you and says, I was going to, I was giving this public speech in front of the whole school, and then I thought I could do it. I really wanted to, but then I froze. I was really scared, and I completely failed. I couldn't speak anything. I'm never going to do that again because I don't want to deal with failure again. Everyone laughed at me. I never want to speak give public speeches again. Your advice to that little girl would be,
First, I would tell her that it's okay. It's okay to feel how you're feeling. Like it's normal. You're not weird. You're not a scaredy cat. You're not a coward just because just because you're scared of public speaking. Like that is valid. I would first validate her feelings, and then next, I would just tell her like to just speak from her heart, I guess, just speak from her mind, like what does she really want to say. And to be honest, if I was a volunteer like right there, and if I had enough authority to like change stuff, if she really doesn't want to, I wouldn't force her. Because yeah, people always say like, oh, we should encourage people to be public speakers, but then it's not. We need to accept reality. It's not for everyone, and you shouldn't force people to do it just because you think it would be eventually beneficial for them. And yeah, I would try my best. Like I would do everything I can for her to like break out of her shell and stuff like that. But then if it's not for her, then it's not for her. And who am I to force her?
yeah, we to force her. But yeah, nice advice. She did say that she wanted to. But
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, I didn't.
no, it's fine. You still gave the advice. But it's very
I
important to. I see where you're coming from, right? So public
yeah,
speaking is a big thing that everyone kind of wants their kids and their students to be awesome at public speaking, whereas, like you said, no, you don't really have to. It's just something,
yeah.
you know. True, I agree. Um, if you were invisible for a week, how would you spend that week?
Um, invisible. I would probably travel because I would get free flights. But then that would be like a bad thing because I can't take pictures. um, I guess I would get into places you normally couldn't get into, like those like exclusive places and stuff. Maybe go to like the White House and see what's happening there, or go to famous people and see what's happening there. Like I just want to know what's the tea, what's the deal.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think a lot of people who talk about, they when they say they love traveling, every time I've asked them this question, they always talk about traveling as well. So yeah, so we all have similar thinking, I
Mhm.
guess. We're towards the end of the session, Kahi. So I've got a few questions still. But yeah, just letting you know that we're coming towards the end of the session. Um, um, what is one thing that you've wanted to do for a while, but there's this one little nagging fear that's keeping you from doing it?
I wanted to get like internships from different companies, or like yeah, different get internships from different companies, but then I'm scared that maybe I'm not qualified enough, especially since I'm just a freshman and I don't have as much qualifications as other people do.
Okay,
Yeah, that's something I want.
okay. And what do you think you should do?
I think maybe I could try, but then I think realistically, practically, what's more important is I should probably build up my resume more and get more of the qualifications. Because even if I'm like, oh, I should just do it, but like, that's realistically speaking, I should just build it up more. Just give it time.
Okay, just give it time. Um, okay, nice. Last question, Kahi. Let's just suppose this universe has a plan for everyone, right? So,
Hmm.
and this universe has a special plan for your this specific life. If you believe that, I don't know if you believe that or not. Let's just suppose you believe that.
Hmm.
Why do you think this universe gave you this particular life? For what purpose?
I think it's because they know. I mean, the universe knows that I would be logical enough to use my passion, use my interests and use my skills in a way for me to help other people in the future. I guess the universe knew that I would eventually find like the perfect intersection, I guess, of like my interests, my passion, and my skills, and be able to apply it in the future. Like now, I'm not sure yet what it is, but I do know it's gonna be something along those lines, like in within that field. And I guess the universe just knew that I would find fulfillment from it, and I would be able to help other people from it.
You'll be able to help other people from it. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Kahee. I absolutely loved talking to you. Learned quite a bit from you as well. Um, yeah, talking to young people like you just gives me hope. When we were your age, we were just doing stupid stuff. And talking to you guys, say wise things just make me hopeful and optimistic about the future. But yeah, absolutely inspiring to talk to you. And also, thank you, all your friends. I can't really name all of you guys, but thank you so much for being here and watching this show. And so please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We don't actually get anything from it, but just this opportunity to talk to inspiring people like Kahee and so many other young people, just that. And saying this, I'll just hand it over to Kahee. If I've forgotten to ask you any questions, like this is something that you should have asked, but I didn't. You can address that as well, and you can close the session for us as well, please.
Okay. I don't think there's anything else, but thank you so much for giving like this platform. Like I think it is really an amazing platform for a lot of like members of the youth to talk, and it's great that you featured like a lot of like a diverse group of people, a diverse group of people to talk in this platform. And thank you so much for the questions too. They were really challenging and thought provoking. I don't think I would have been able to predict your questions. And for everyone watching, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching and supporting me. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
नेपालमा
Good night.
सर्वाधिक डाउनलोड गरिएको हाम्रो पात्रो एप तपाईका लागि सधैँ सजिलो सबै सजिलो तपाई पनि डाउनलोड गर्नुहोस् किनकि यसमा सबै छ।